Let's flip to another section we're going to do called some rookie risers and fallers. And these guys could also be counted as position battle winners. A month and a half ago, I was naive enough to include Ricky Pearsall in a wide receiver mix. The wide receiver competition for San Francisco was Dejon Stribling versus Christian Kirk versus Demarcus Robinson versus Ricky Pearsall's health. And we can say that Dejon Stribling is the winner, one of the biggest rookie risers in the entire NFL.
He's been strong, but it's also, you can't hold this against yourself. You couldn't predict that Ricky Pearsall's knee that he should have had an operation on then swelled up and got to the point that he needed the operation. Like, you're not in the team doctor's heads there. So that's not on you. But look, these are the developments that you hope for when you draft a guy and you throw him in there and they end up exceeding expectations. It's a good situation for the 49ers to have. Not a perfect situation though, because they just can't stay healthy. Hopefully Stribling ends up, kind of matching what he's produced so far in camp in the preseason and ends up being a key part of this team, because I think they're going to need him.
Oh, I think he is. I think he's going to have a lot of volume. I get it. I just don't think there's other people that are going to be catching enough passes on this team. Kittle will obviously be a volume target once he is out there, but his situation is a little bit of a question. Mike Evans is expected to return to practice next week, but his injuries have been a little more serious than they've let on because he just hasn't been out there. I also list your two rookies in Cleveland, Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston, among the biggest rookie winners. Just an awesome month for the two of them. And people might say, well, okay, they got to do it in the game. This doesn't mean everything. I'm reading all the reports in all the camps. It's not like this for everyone. Like, Zach Jackson, who's covered this team forever, is like, these are the best two receivers they've had in the building for so long. They're just the best two receivers on the team. And that includes a guy in Jerry Jeudy who's making a lot of money, and they're just clearly better than him already, which is great news for the future of your Browns, if not the present.
Yeah, the big question will be who's throwing them the football. We already know that drama and everything else, but this is about the long term. This is about building your core and answering a need that you've had for forever. And if you could get them to be you don't have to produce at the level that Josh Gordon did, but just fill a role that Josh Gordon once occupied in this receiving core, they'll be fan favorites, they'll be productive, and they'll be an ideal situation for whatever quarterback comes to town next year, because one will be coming to walk into.
Caleb Downs, I wrote down just as another rookie who's gotten a lot of positive press. Jadarian Price, I am absolutely swayed by some of those Hard Knocks clips and the fact that the Seahawks coaches, the way they've talked about him, they're like, we don't need to see him in the preseason. I think they're a little wowed by Jadarian Price's talent, and no one else has really emerged there. And so he's just got to stay healthy. But to me, he's a riser despite missing some of camp with injuries. Is that the problem you got for me?
No, it's not a problem. It feels kind of like a bit of a kid gloves thing too, where they're like, look, we've already gotten bitten hard by the injury bug at this position. We lost Kenneth Walker in the offseason. Let's keep this guy who's very talented on ice until the regular season. It's also like pretty fascinating to me to consider the idea that this was a guy who most people did not see as a first round pick, maybe early second round, ends up going in the first round, and can come into a camp and then flash at that level and look so much better than his peers when he was just in college. Like that will forever fascinate me when guys just show up like that and are that much better right away.
If you've got the juice, like Casey Concepcion's a great example, and Denzel Boston in the way that he is a ball winner, but that's different. Like Jadarian Price and Concepcion, like they just move different. And like you either have that or you don't, I think, at some level. And it probably takes the NFL coaches to see like, oh yeah, him compared to the other guys on the field, he just moves different. So I'm very excited about him. He could be a better pro in terms of production, certainly this year than he was at Notre Dame last year.
Stuck behind Jeremiah Love.
Right. It's really crazy. Couple other rookies that I see as risers. Akeem Messidor has had a great camp for the Chargers. I would package two running backs, Kalen Black for the 49ers. Once he got back from his injuries, looked great. Mike Washington, we've talked about on the show a lot for the Raiders, has looked great. Caleb Elarms-Orr for the Bills, not a household name, has a real chance. I think he's going to start for this team at linebacker. 4th round pick. I didn't have many day 3 guys here in the rookie risers. I would also throw in Caleb Douglas, who I mentioned with the Dolphins before, and then Jayshon Barham. Another guy who's had some injuries, but has really wowed everyone that watched him out of that group. And if you have any others, feel free to throw them out. Out of that group, though, is there anyone that stands out to you as exciting?
Oh, this reminds me of how much I enjoy when guys leave college and go to the NFL and they change uniforms, and I can actually enjoy watching them play football. Jayshon Barham being one. As an Ohio State fan, I can't enjoy watching Michigan in any capacity. So to see him go to the NFL and then immediately flash, I'm like, yes, he's one of my favorite players of the preseason. I cannot wait to see how he fits into this Cowboys defense at the second level, how much playing time they give him as part of a remade defense that I think is going to be a lot better than people expect with Christian Parker, the new DC, overseeing things. So I'm excited to watch him play as well. And I'm really curious to see exactly how Mesidor fits into this front with the Chargers, given that Khalil Mack is there and everything else. But he was one half of a great edge rushing tandem at Miami with Ruben Bain. And to see both of them come in and find success would just be fulfilling to somebody like me who really enjoys watching the top players in college football take that immediate next step and make a difference.
Bryce Lance was another day 3 pick I wish I mentioned. He has come on strong, according to the Saints reporters, in the last week and a half at the joint practices, and he's going to have a role. Unfortunately, it's because of injuries there, including to Jordan Tyson. But I think Bryce Lance and then Barian Brown as a late round pick, as a return guy and kind of a number 4 receiver, those guys are going to play for the Saints. So I would include them in the rookie risers. It was easier for me to find the rookie fallers. Jordan Tyson has to be at the top of the list, and it comes with an asterisk. I don't know if any rookie was impressing more on the field than Jordan Tyson until the moment that he hurt his hamstring like he did for so much of college and was out for 2 months. But you just worry that this could haunt his entire rookie season. I hope they're just so careful with him that by the time he gets back, he can then have a productive second half of the season, whatever it's going to turn out to be.
It's especially disappointing for a team that, you have Chris Olave on a new deal in there, but you needed a running mate in this passing offense, especially with Tyler Shuck coming into year 2 with a lot of optimism based on how he finished last season. But that's always been the rub with Tyson. And the idea, if it would be one thing if it was even an ankle. It's the idea that it's a hamstring, and for the type of player he is and the injury history that he has, is that this is going to take a while. And you're absolutely right. I worry that it might haunt his rookie season. I hope that it doesn't. I hope that he can come back fully healthy and then make a contribution down basically what's going to be the back half of the regular season. But it's a real bummer and just a hit to the optimism surrounding the Saints right now. But that doesn't change my pick. I'm still going with him to win the division, baby.
I cannot agree. I think this division could be a mess.
You got to be different somewhere.
I think this division could be a mess. I'm even starting to get a little worried about my Bucks, at least offensively. Some of the reporting of how the offensive practices are going, but I'm staying strong with them as the winner of the NFC South. Caleb Banks was a surprising first-round pick, first pick of the post-Kwesi era. He was the GM of the Vikings till Kevin O'Connell might have won a power struggle, and Caleb Banks is not a player that is expected to make much contribution, if any, early in the season. So I would consider him a faller right now. Looks like a project. The Jets rookies in general loved it on paper. It's not going great so far. No reason to panic. These are 4 or 5 year contracts, but Kenyon Sadiq has been hurt. He's the tight end that they took in the middle of the first round that they expected to be a big part of the offense. Omar Cooper, late first round, hasn't necessarily made a big impact battling for snaps. D'Angelo Pons, undersized cornerback who I really like, kind of the next Aaron Glenn, but he hasn't been healthy at all. So that's 3 guys that you took near the top of your draft that don't look like they've had a productive training camp. The good thing is you do have David Bailey, who's had an awesome one. So I didn't want to be all negative about the Jets. And David Bailey was the number 2 overall pick, and I think has calmed any fears that he would just be like a one-trick pony. When that one trick is getting off the ball faster than everyone else, it can work at any level, apparently.
Yeah, not all is lost because your top pick is looking awesome, and that's a good thing. But yeah, it always sucks when a rookie with high expectations gets hurt or is dealing with injuries in their first camp. It's common. Like it's not something that, comes as a surprise sometimes, but this was a group that I think this may have been my favorite class of this entire draft. I like the Browns a lot too, but I thought the Jets was just very strong. A bunch of names and guys that were my favorites in college football. And so the Sadiq thing hurts because he still has some things to prove as a hyper athletic tight end with relatively inconsistent hands. I wanted to see how he fit into this offense and how he works with Geno Smith, a veteran quarterback who knows how to use his tight ends, right? But I think what bothers me the most, or what bums me out the most, is D'Angelo Ponce, because he's one of those guys that's really hard not to root for in a secondary that certainly needs some difference makers. Do you hope that with the passage of time, they get back healthy, they can make a difference? But as we enter the season, it does dim the light of optimism just a little bit.
Yeah, the rest of my rookies are impacted by injuries. Jeremiah Love for the Cardinals has a high ankle sprain, might not be ready for the start of the season. The second-round pick for the Cardinals was a guard, Chase Basantis, who's going to miss the entire season. C.J. Allen, a linebacker for the Colts in the second round, expected to start right away, has missed much of camp, now not looking like a starter. Max Ihanachor, the potential starting right tackle first-round pick for the Steelers, hasn't been healthy. Might get back on the field in time for the preseason this week, and that would give him a late chance to earn a job or at least a high-level backup role. And then a guy who's been mostly healthy until just this last week is tight end Eli Stowers for the Eagles, but he is now out with an injury. Mekhi Lemon has missed a lot of camp too, and Stowers reportedly just didn't look ready for primetime. It happens, especially at tight end, and I just don't think he's going to have a role early in the season. Hopefully Mekhi Lemon is healthy enough to for week 1. We'll find out.